Welcome to the second day of the event, of the workshop. Today we will have the presentations of the Brazilian and the UK participants. Each participant will have 10 minutes for your introduction and presentation. 10 minutes. We will start now the presentations with Professor Dr. Anabela Soares.
Thanks. Bom dia. Good morning, everyone. It's nerve-wracking to be the first one, so apologies for that. It's just because I don't have a comparison. I don't know what I should be saying. But hopefully I'll be saying what you need to hear for stimulating future collaboration. So I put strategy and operations because that's my general area of teaching and research. And I'll let you know a little bit more about specifics of my research projects. I'm currently moving to Plymouth Business School, so don't be confused if you see University of West London and then you see Plymouth Business School in my presentation. That's because I'm starting the 1st of May in there. Very excited about that. And I've given you my personal email because I find it's easier for you to contact me. So, about me. This is a horrible part because you'll figure out how old I am, and that's never a good thing. So I've done a BSc in Social Psychology of Politics and Economics in Porto, where I've studied. I then went on to do a postgraduate course in Marketing Management in Catholic Business School. And I did an MSc in Marketing Management in Kent Business School, and I was invited to stay and do my PhD. My PhD was in Supply Chain Quality Management and interfirm relationships, so I'll let you know a bit more in a second. So my main areas of research from that are interfirm relationships, supply chain quality management, servitization, which I started last year, and gamification, which I'm just starting. So I'm looking forward to hear my colleagues, so I get some tips on how to implement that in my school. I thought that this would be easier. First, because I'm the first one and you're asleep. And second, because it's colorful, so it will hopefully grab your attention for 2 minutes. These are my main areas of research. I've started here with supply chain quality management and interfirm relationships, and then it kind of just took me to other areas with collaboration with other people. The reason why I started in supply chain quality management is because I started as a quality researcher for a city council. And one of the main worries was if customers are satisfied with city council services. And we found that most of it was a problem related to back office and suppliers and things not being ready because back office didn't have them ready. So it wasn't the problem of the service itself on the front house, it was a back office issue. So that got me into looking at how do we manage quality throughout the whole supply chain, and associated to that, what type of relationships we need to develop with these suppliers, with these partners, in order to guarantee that we have a quality product and a quality service at the end of the day. So that's what kind of started my whole research projects. And then after that I started servitization research related to that, looking into the role of collaboration, the role of co-creation as a moderator of servitization, co-opetition, servitization levels in the pharmaceutical industry, which I presented last year in the servitization conference. And all of this related to, obviously, performance. Then I've also diverted a bit to other things. I was invited to participate on a project on organizational culture and leadership, which we are currently writing a paper on. And I have as well started looking into sustainability, and that's something very close to my heart because it's in the Azores, in the islands where I was born. And I started that because in the Azores there's no waste management. And all garbage goes together to the same place, all waste. So we are looking into and talking to the government there to get some funding to implement some waste management strategy, a sustainable strategy, to manage industrial waste, and also to implement recycling, because we don't even have recycling. I mean, the kids see these things on TV, but they don't even know what that is. They learn in school, but they don't actually have it. So they don't actually do recycling because they don't have it. So it's kind of a long-term project, but it's something me and my co-workers in Portugal are very invested on because of the links we have. We want to give back to the community where we were born. And finally, gamification, which is something I've started roughly last year with a colleague. I find it very interesting, and I've started getting more engaged with it through teaching, because I use simulations like online, manage your own company kind of thing, and that led me to invest in looking to an online book and an online platform. I can tell you more about it later. Create my own gamified environment through that online book, make my students play and learn at the same time, and hopefully, with some tips from my colleagues, do some research with it. So it's not, it's kind of kill two birds in one stone kind of thing. So that's the general things I'm doing, like the broad areas I'm involved. Please come and talk to me if you want to know more details or if you want to collaborate in any of those things. And I hope you find it useful to keep you awake without coffee at 8:30 in the morning. Yeah, job accomplished. So, about Plymouth University. Obviously, I'm only starting in May, so I can't tell you much, but I can tell you this. These are the main research institutes in Plymouth University. So they include cognition, psychology, neuroscience, and robotics, arts, health and community, marine science, biology, and engineering, which is a big department there, translational and stratified medicine, sustainable earth, so a lot of sustainability research as well, social policy and enterprise, and obviously all pedagogy-related teaching research. So that gives you a broad overview of the research centers and the kind of funding the university is having for each one of those centers and projects, in case you're interested in knowing more. Publications. Now, this is the exciting part. I could, pretend that these are like just the main ones, and I have a lot of them, but I'm not going to do that. I've just finished my PhD in 2014, and that's why you will see that my future publications are still related to my PhD, because my supervisors were very keen in, you do your PhD first and you publish afterwards. So that's the plan, that was the plan, and that's what we're doing now. We're polishing final touches in publications and looking to publish them in International Journal of Production and Research and the Journal of Operations Management. And this one is one I'm presenting at the Servitization Conference here in 2016 in Manchester. And the reason why it doesn't have a journal is because obviously we are still deciding where, well, we know where we want to go, but there's conflicting interests. So we're kind of negotiating where we're submitting the paper. And the previous ones are related to my research and to my recent collaborations in servitization research. So about funding, I got funding for my PhD, so I got a full scholarship to do my PhD, to develop my research project for 3 years. And for future and current applications, I am developing the waste management bit for the Azores with the government, and I'm also involved as a consultant in a project on sustainability and waste management. But I can't tell you a lot about that because it's confidential. I've signed an agreement. So basically, I'm just going to be providing supply chain management and strategy expertise to the project. And I hope it goes through, fingers crossed, and that they allow me to be part of it. So in terms of teaching responsibilities, for the past year and a half, I was working in the University of West London, and my role was mostly teaching. I did the research I've showed you before, but I was mostly responsible for teaching. So I was a course leader, so an undergraduate director for the business studies pathways. We have pathways in entrepreneurship, in business studies with marketing, with HRM, so all of those different pathways. And the modules I was responsible for undergraduates level 3, third year, strategic management, and then everything else you see are MBA and master's modules that I was responsible for. Business strategy, corporate strategy, logistics and supply chain management. And then the last 3 ones are the ones I have taught in Kent as I was doing my PhD. And research methods I kind of did throughout my whole career. Everyone always asks me to do some research methods classes for some reason. I like it, but you know, people just want me to do it. So there we go. That's my teaching areas. In the past, industry collaborations. So as my job in the past, as I started in a school called Escola de Negócios e Administração, which was a private company, and we did training in other companies, in other places. So it wasn't just a school that provided classes. We were into companies to do training. So we would do assessment of training needs, and that's why I put it as industry collaboration. And it's funny because it's something we were discussing in our group work yesterday. So we used to go to companies and ask them, what's the problem and how can we help you solve? What kind of training do you need? And I also worked in a marketing institute doing market research. So I'd collaborate with companies to understand their needs. And for example, one was a tight company, like Calzedonia kind of thing. They wanted to know if their clients were satisfied with the thickness of the socks. So we did a market research for that, but it also includes polls, you know, like for political parties and things like that. It was very interesting. And then I did consultancy in the UK, in Kent, for a powder coating company, and that was quite interesting. I don't know if you know powder coating. It's like, for example, when you have a bike and you spray paint with a color. So there's a whole process associated to that. So I was looking at their layout and how to improve the efficiency of their operations and doing cost analysis and all of these things. In terms of current and future, so one of the places we will intervene in the Azores is called Indústria Conserveira de Santa Catarina. Sorry for my UK fellow members. It means just they're dealing with fish, that's all. And they do tuna cans, that's it. And we're working with the city councils from Velas and Calheta, which are the 2 main city councils in my island. And they're very keen to implement the sustainability strategy. So, as I said, I'm not going to be long, so I think I'm way on time, I guess, so I give more time for people that have more interesting things to say. Those are my contact details. Please feel free to contact me if you have any interest in knowing about any of the fields I do work, or if you're interested in starting a new one, I'm open to that too. And I just like to end by saying obrigada pela oportunidade. And thank you very much for allowing me and supporting us to come to this workshop. So thank you.